Hello and welcome. I'm going to be reviewing Revenant by Mary's Blood, and for background information, Mary's Blood is an all-female Japanese power metal band. They were formed with 4 of the 5 former members of Destros. The band went through 3 lineup changes in 2012, and the current lineup consists of the only original member Ai on vocals, Mari on drums, Ryo on bass, and Saiki on guitar. Revenant is the band's 4th album and was released on April 18th, 2018, shortly after the band switching to Tomoka Japan Communications record label. This is an album that's known for being a massive shift in the band's style, as the album has really next to no songs on here that can be classified as power metal, save for one. The album is also extremely divisive, with people loving it so much it's their 2018 Album of the Year contender, or the album is underwhelming and the most disappointing of 2018. It's an extremely divisive album. However, where do I personally think it falls? Let's find out. Now, before we get into the music, as with all my reviews, we're going to talk about the artwork. Now, the artwork is just for fun. It does not impact my overall enjoyment of the music or the overall grade at the end of the video. And the artwork depicts a woman with her half side in like a crescent shape, covered in a light black, and the light black has a lot of mechanical stuff like gears and pumps inside of it. And then around her neck, which her neck is completely covered in that stuff, there are the ends of like little flower petals, like white flower petals, implying that there is a flower in her chest. And the bottom with the band's name and the title, and the shoulders looking more like they were hand drawn by sort of like a chalk, or with how like artsy it is. You could really make so many interpretations with the cover. Of what they were actually, what it actually means. I really do love how artsy it is. I love how it does it elegantly, and it's not just throwing too much at you or just overwhelming you, which is what a lot of metal covers suffer from. It does enough to provoke thought and interest from a person, and the cover looks very smooth too. Honestly, this is probably one of the best album covers I have personally seen. It gets a perfect 10 out of 10 out from me, and if I were the type of person who were to, break the scale with my grades, which is something I would not personally do, especially since I feel like it could make ratings inconsistent, this was definitely an album cover I could do that with. But anyways, with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and talk about the songs. Now, tell me what your favorite song on the album was and why in the comments down below. And we're going to go through this track by track. The first track on the album is World's End, and it opens up the album with a nice build-up. It has some very subtle symphonic elements with the intro. The good song overall has a very thrash metal feel. I'm a huge fan of the riffs of the second verse. The guitar solo is just amazing. And I love the way it seemingly staggers in the solo before really going into it. There's also great build-up into the outro, which just ends with this really awesome scream. And it is a really good opening track, and definitely keeps you into it. Or I should say keeps you into it, I should say. Really helps you get into it. Excuse me, wrong phrasing. Now the second track continues that momentum, as the guitars are just really amazing in the intro with the really fast and high riffs. Again, there is a slightly symphonic element with this track, and holy crap, though the guitar solo on this track is just, well, damn. It's like something you'd have to hear for yourself. Saki is definitely a top tier guitar player, and the solo is like what elevates the song for me and makes it. And I'm referring to the second track on here. It's just the second track because the title's in Japanese, and I don't speak Japanese, and I do not trust Google Translate enough to have that be like a reliable title. The third track on the album is It's Alright, and the pacing was fast. The instrumentation was more technical on the first 2 tracks, but with It's Alright, it's overall loose and sees the band taking a shift to industrial metal. The chorus is definitely the highlight, and it's pretty catchy, especially with the hi-hat that helps. The song, as expected, Osaki, contains an amazing solo, and then it has a bass solo, and then a drum solo after the guitar solo, which leads into the final chorus and is done well too. This song, I would say, I'm not going to say it's a ripoff, but there are a lot of points where it's extremely similar to another song called Masturbation by Datarama in a lot of places. From the chorus, the intro, and the first verse. There definitely was at least, and wouldn't be surprised me if that song was an influence for this one, because I know that I is a fan of Visual K. Not sure it still is, but she was at one point, so it could be a possibility. That could have been an influence. The 4th song is Believe Me, and the drums have great fills to start. The song features a solid and catchy chorus. The second verse is downright amazing with the guitar fiddling halfway through it. There's a nice slow and heavy breakdown at the 3:15 mark, leading into a fantastic guitar solo. And we have another shift in sound and genre with track 5, which is a song that is very clearly a throwback to classic rock. I uses an extremely gritty vocal style here, not screaming, just really gritty, much like songs of back in the day, like the old time rock and roll song. Also, you may mishear her singing "Bye Bye" as her singing Bible. That's kind of what I heard, but the guitar solo fits well anyways with this. It's a lot slower than all the other solos and doesn't have anything as fancy, but it does definitely fit well with the aesthetic, because I feel like if they use one of the more crazy power metal-y solos on this track, it would just not mesh well. Ai's vocals do definitely blend very naturally with the style and what they're going for. It helps to give the song the old feeling, and doesn't come off as forced. It is definitely a really good track. And then the next track is completely different from On the Rocks, which was the 5th track, and this song is called Rolling Start. And there is a similarity, as in this song does have a nostalgic feel. This time it feels slightly glam metal. This song really does sound like something that would play during a cheesy montage during an 80s movie. The guitar solo is definitely the sound out, and the guitar at the ending too. Those are the two. That's all I have to say about that one. And then round the 7th track, which is called Halcon Day, This is the first ballad of the album, and is honestly overall feels kind of by the numbers and was just kind of thrown on the album. This song very much does feel like a filler track. The bass does stand out on the song, and there are enough interesting things in the instrumentation and a great performance from Ai that keep the song from feeling dull or boring. There is enough interesting things in there, but overall it does feel definitely like an obligatory ballad to me. The track 8 on the album is Death Queen's March. It opens up with a really nice piano to start and has this great build-off before the song kicks off. The bass sounds great here, and it's a very strong symphonic metal song. There are some really awesome and badass chanting around the 2:41 mark. Great instrumentation after the chanting from the drums and the guitar to lead into the solo. This is an epic 6-minute track. It is easily the best song in the album. Also ironic that I get a song with this title after reviewing Queen of the Murder Scene by The Warning. Think about that. Oh, and then there's also the faulty guitar amp effect at the end. That sounds cool too. The 9th song on the album is R.I.P. I don't think I need to explain what that stands for. It has an amazing bass riff, and the album returns to the thrash metal that was prevalent at the start of the album, and it's a great Screw You song. I'm not sure what the band is directing this Screw You message to, though. And yes, I did make out the very little English while I was listening, so I'm assuming that's kind of the message of the song based on the English lyrics. The song also features a very nice heavy breakdown with another fantastic solo. Honestly, during all my listens of the album, this was the song that I was constantly headbanging to the whole time, where the song just has that right energy, and the outro is nice. And the second to last song on the album is another ballad, Stay Love. And I would say, of the two ballads on the album, Stay Love is the better ballad on the album. And it features an interesting synth. From the title, it's clearly about a love ballad, and the song overall does feel like it does have a more emotional weight than Halcon Days did. But overall, I will say the ballads for me are, this ballad isn't really fillery per se, but it's definitely a ballad that I can see not a lot of people liking, to be honest. Though I will say I'm a fan of it. And the album closes with the track Take a Chance. The album ends on a slightly power metal track, with the power metal being prevalent in the intro and the end of the song. The song uses a nice rumbly bass in the first verse, and the song features an amazing solo from all three instruments, guitar, bass, and drums, in that order. The guitar in the chorus is another highlight, and it definitely ends the album on a high note. Final verdict. Is the album a 2018 Album of the Year contender? No, but it has some high moments. Is the album the most disappointing one of 2018? No, but it had some moments where it was underwhelming. The 5 songs at the start helped the album get off to a really good start, but then it dips a few places and it feels kind of generic. Especially with a song being carried by guitar solo completely, or one of Saki's from Saki, or a vocal performance from I carrying a song. The album, however, it picks up again at the end. The album sees a power metal band doing as much as they can to distance themselves from the genre and try out new things while not completely abandoning power metal. Or it could be just them pursuing other genres they enjoyed. This has been done very successfully by bands by Aldius, with both of their 2017 albums, Unlimited Diffusion and We Are, and are able to do this very well with their genre shifts in both those albums, and it adds a lot of replay value to those discs. Here, though, however, it does dabble here and there, but most of the time it's just more of a, it does have more of a thrash metal direction, and some tracks feel out of place at times in the album, and just feels like the jam session. And given the timing of this album, it's unsure if this was this album coming out with 2018. It's unsure if this album was a direct result of them seeing the success of the 2 Aldius albums for the previous year, or it's the band wanting a style change. This is one of the well-known bands in the all-female Japanese band clique, but so the first one's unlikely. I'm not going to say they should cut their losses and go back to power metal, but they should look very closely at everything here and do this again with the experience that they have for the next album to make it better. This album does feel kind of like a really weird transitional album that a lot of bands do, because I know that bands can transition from one style to the next, and then it's really amazing when they do the new style, but there's always that, like, a lot of times there's that weird transitional album period, which no one likes to talk about, and this could be this band's, assuming that the new album that came out isn't them just going back to what they were doing before. As far as the instrumentation goes, the album is very much driven and carried by Ai and Saki, though Mari and Ryo have their moments. This is an album you honestly should listen to yourself to give an opinion on, seeing as how divisive it was and how likely you are to have a different opinion on it than me. Rating this album was extremely hard for me, because with everything said, it's an album you can easily lowball or easily highball it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give Revenant by Mary's Blood a 7 out of 10. My favorite tracks were Death Queen's March, R.I.P., World's End, and It's Alright. What were your thoughts on the album? Was this an album you loved? Was this an album you were disappointed in? And was this an album you hated? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you wanted me to review, and I will be sure to check it out. And as for my next review, well, you'll just have to wait and see. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.